Do you get anxious going through airports? Well, come and see what happened to us. Hi, Michelle here from Travelling Over 60. Come join me on this adventure. Our Canada and Alaska trip is over, and part of our tour included transfers back to Vancouver Airport to the departure section. Now we're going to be flying all the way home to Australia on Air Canada. If you haven't been following me on my travels through Canada and Alaska, you might like to go and look up the other videos. But just to remind you, we did a land portion in Canada, followed by an Alaskan cruise. And we chose to have the ship take our luggage off. So we packed everything up, we weighed our luggage, and then we placed it outside our door for collection. We kept our carry-ons with us that had our toiletries and a change of clothes in that we'll take off ourselves tomorrow. Our tour company APT stored our bags while we filled in a day at the Capilano Suspension Bridge and wandering around in Gastown. But then it was time to head to the airport. Hi everyone. Well, as you can see, I'm in my backyard again, but I'm hoping that nature's going to work with us today because I live right near the National Park in Australia. So who knows what might be flying in behind me. And if you watch this tree just here, you might see some parrots coming and going. Anyway, enough of that. I just wanted to come in and let you know how stressed I was at Vancouver Airport. Now, if any of you have watched my introductory video that I put up, that's linked up the top of my page, you would know that I am a very anxious traveller. That's why I started this channel. Well, all my anxieties came to the front when I was in Vancouver Airport. Now, I'm going to let you watch this first bit that I taped when I actually was at the airport, and then I'll pop back in later in the video to talk about what happened. We were dropped at departures, and this is where my anxiety starts to build. We go in to check in and go up to the counter, and have you ever seen that person at the airport that slaps open their suitcase and starts to repack? Yep, that was me. Now, we were very particular at weighing our suitcases because I did a lot of shopping, and it came up that we were under our limit. So here's my tip for you. Don't trust those little handheld scales. They may not be the same as at the airport. Oh boy. Now, my suitcase was just a little bit over because remember, we weighed our suitcases, and my husband's was a little bit under. We didn't think that that's what it was, but obviously the scales are different at the airport, so keep that in mind. So we slapped open that bag and we shuffled our clothes back and forth. We changed our shoes, put light shoes into the suitcase, heavy shoes on our feet. Now we had it weighed again, and they agreed we could put it through. So we didn't get an extra fee, but I was so stressed having to try and do all of that right there at the counter. So we've done that. We've put our bags in. They've gone off. Thank goodness. You'd think that was all that was going to happen and I could relax. But wait. Well, that was very traumatic. I've just come through the security up at the top of that ramp, and I've walked down to here to gather myself. They have just pulled through my carry-on bag, searching through everything, and all that they could tell me is that all my toiletries added up to too much liquid to be taking on. Okay, let's talk about that. So we just went up to security like we do every other time. We put our carry-ons, we pulled out the things that needed to be pulled out, we put the things into the trays, and the trays went through and we went through. But as we got through, we noticed our tray went off to the right-hand side, both my husband's and mine. And I didn't know what on earth they would be looking for. I do carry medication with me. I thought maybe that. So we went to the end, we had to wait for a little bit, and then they came across and they asked us to open our bags. So of course, we opened our bags. They pulled everything out of our bags. I kept asking, is there something in particular you're looking for? I could help you. And they just kept saying, nope. And they were very strict. And so we stood there and they pulled through my husband's and they found a little tiny wooden bear that wasn't wooden. It was plastic, but it looked like it was wooden. So we thought, well, that's okay. They're doing the right thing. They're checking what they need to check. So they pulled that little wooden bear out. They had a look, determined it was plastic, and then they said to my husband, you can repack your bag. In the meantime, they're still pulling through my bag. And then they tell my husband he has to move away. Now my anxieties have really gone through the roof. I'm standing there by myself. They're searching through my bag. I have no idea what they're looking for. And then he tells me I have too much liquid. Let's backtrack a bit. Last night on the ship, we packed up our luggage, but we kept all our toiletries and a change of clothes in our carry-on bags. Now, when we collected our suitcases when we got off the ship, we just went through customs there, the bags went onto the coach, and we just didn't see them again until we got to the airport, until we slapped them open and had to reshuffle everything. But I still didn't think about, there was no toiletries in my luggage. They were in my carry-on. We didn't open our carry-on at the airport until now when they're going through our bags. So in my toiletry bag, I had liquid makeup, I had some perfume, I had all my toiletries, and it was all in my carry-on, and it was way too much. Now I just want to show you this. This is the bag that they have showed us that you have to put, I'll turn it this way, you have to fit everything into that bag. Now some of you may have seen that bag before, but that's not something I've seen. Anyway, I did do the wrong thing. I just didn't give a thought to it. So this is a reminder for you all. If you get off the ship and you've kept your toiletries with you in your carry-on, don't forget, open your suitcase, put your toiletries in your suitcase before you check your bags through. Now we spent a little bit of time trying to see if we could fit all the liquids into that bag. As it happened, we squished it in really tight, and the man that was searching through my bags, he was great. He said to me, you only just make it, but this is a warning for you. So I really appreciate that he did that. We got it all in that bag, we just couldn't close the bag, so I wasn't too much over. But boy, oh boy, now I am so stressed. As I walked past and went through the final part of the customs and out to meet where some friends were, they actually said to me the colour had drained from my face. That's how anxious I was. So let's go and take a look at the rest of the airport. Now there's not a lot of videoing because by this stage I was so stressed I couldn't even think straight. And we still had to wait for the plane that's been delayed. Let's go and have a look at the rest of the airport and coming home. So let's have a look. Come through here and of course you go into duty-free shops. The ground's all flat, easy walking. There was a ramp back there but it was all flat. You could come down on the travelator or just walk down the side. Now when you come out into this area here, to give you a bit of a gauge, there's that statue there. And then there's more shops. All the shops along here. Now of course you can discover that for yourself if you're ever in Vancouver Airport. But I just wanted to show you over here is a food court, which is quite a nice little area to sit in. bridge to walk over, and then plenty of seating and shops as well. The food shops, there's a Starbucks, there's a burger sort of shop, a Subway, just that sort of takeaway food. Okay, we spent some time in the food court. We got something to eat and drink, but we're going to make our way to our gate now. Now, when we checked in, they told us that our flight had been delayed. Another problem. But we'll just watch the board and make sure that we know when our flight is leaving. So we're heading back up that ramp now and back towards where security was. As you can see, there's shops on the right-hand side. We can see a board at the top here that we're going to check our flight before going round to where the gate is. Okay, let's take a look at these signs. That's for the time, that's for the gates, but let's do a close-up. Do you see the time? We were meant to be leaving at 22:40, but now we're not leaving until 1:10. Oh, that's a lot of time to fill in, but we're going to head over to where the gate is and find a seat over there. Okay, we're looking for gate 51. This way. Now, just before we go on any further, if you followed along with me, you might remember I bought a chest mount to be able to put my phone in it so I could walk around with two hands available through the airport and still video for you. Well, that was an epic fail. This is where I have to apologise to you for the video rocking backwards and forwards. It didn't hold tight at all and the camera wasn't steady. I'm sorry. Oh no, we have to walk past security again. I think I'm traumatised. Now, you can't normally video or take photos in this area, but it's all open in Vancouver. So I took some photos, and as you can see, they're going through lots of people's bags. At least I wasn't the only one. So continuing on, and just to put it in perspective, we went to the food court to the right, but we need to find gate 51, which is to the left. Okay, there's another sign. Gate 51 is up ahead, and we're going to go round to the left here. Now, I can see a travelator. Sorry for the movement in the camera, but I can see one of those travelators there. So if it's getting too far to walk, you could just hop on there and have a little bit of a rest. Now, as we walk around this corner, on the left-hand side here, you can see those little carts. Now, I'm not quite sure how you get access to those little carts if you need them. But if you do need them, that might be something you have to research. At least you know they're available here. You might need to make a phone call to your airline or maybe even the airport. Another sign there telling us to keep going straight ahead. And then we're going to walk around to the right. And if you haven't seen the board yet where you can see all of your flights, there's one right here. You can stop and have a look. Now we're about to walk past bathrooms as well, washrooms, toilets, whatever you want to call them. And that's gate 52. So here's another sign. We're going straight down. And we're going to go round to the left here where that cart just went. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned is it was 10:30 at night, so some of the shops are closed. Now, we're going off this way to the left, but I'm not sure if that shop was open, if you might have been able to walk straight through. But we're going round here, and as you can see, it's sort of round to the left, round to the right, and then down at the bottom of this little walkway, we're going round to the right. You see the sign there. Now, this is a good time to mention. It was really well signed. There was no way we were going to get lost. Everywhere we went, we could find a sign. There was arrows, and we found our way down to gate 51, And this is where we're going to be sitting for the next few hours. So when we finally got to our gate and we found a seat, we just sat and chat and we tried to laugh about different things because now I'm feeling really anxious about getting on the plane. Why is it delayed? And of course it was nothing. It was just that the plane came in late and they had to clean it and then it was ready to go again. Now we got on board, we flew premium economy, so it was the same as when we came over to Vancouver. And if you want to see that video, this is what it looks like. Again, here's a sneak peek of business class, I wish. But we had exactly the same seats we had coming over, which is right where the bulkhead was. Here's the final goodbye to Vancouver. Now, we hadn't been on board long and they did bring us a meal. This is a sneak peek of it. And here we are on our way, and I hope to get some sleep. Okay, the plane's landed. We're finally home now. This is just a little bit to show you coming through Sydney Airport. Now, I don't like to show you too much of all the routine of getting in and out of airports because it changes so often. But this is what it was when I went through the airport in May of 2024. Now, I didn't really get much sleep on the plane, just a few little cat naps, but it was time to get off now. Be careful of that step as you're stepping off the plane into the walkway. Okay, we have to make our way across to pick up our bags now. So up this ramp, and then we are just following the people in front of us. I've got to say, Sydney isn't as good with their signage as what some other airports are. But there was plenty of people around that worked at the airport that could help us. Now, it was about a 5 or 10 minute walk, and as you can see, I've sped it up just a little bit for you. As you make your way down here, you will see a small sign that tells you way out. But other than that, there wasn't a lot of signage. But there is only one way to go, so you can't really get lost. Again, looking at the ground, it's quite flat. And just giving you a bit of a look here, yes, there is some duty-free shops as you're going out. Not many, but there's a few. Now, you will come across some of these e-passport self-serve kiosks as you're walking down. Now, if the line's not too long, definitely use these ones. And they're quite easy. They have step-by-step on the screen. But the lineup for these were really, really long. So we waited till we got a bit further down, and there's a few more closer to the gates. Now, once we did that part, we went through, we collected our bags, and then went through customs. Finally, we collected our suitcases. We did declare a few things. We went through customs, but they were nothing they wanted to really check. And then we came out, and we had someone waiting for us to bring us home. And you know what comes next? Not the thumbs up. But feel free to give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. I meant the washing. Now we're home, there's all that washing to do. And it is that time in the video where I remind you, have you subscribed to my channel? If you have, I really appreciate your support. And if you haven't, can you consider subscribing to my channel? Nothing happens, you will not receive anything. It just tells YouTube that people are liking my videos and maybe somebody else can be helped by what they're seeing in my videos. So they push it out to more people. So really, it costs you nothing, takes a second to do, but it helps me out a lot. I just do it as a hobby. I'm hoping I'm helping people. Maybe you'd like to tell me if these videos have helped you in some way. You know where to put them in the comments down below. And if you haven't already been to Canada and Alaska, but you're planning your trip this year, you might like to hit the share button and share it with the people that you're going on holidays with, or just share them with your family. I really appreciate your support. Now, if you stayed right to the very end, you get an extra bit. Nature did behave today, but I thought you might like to have a look at the parrots in this tree. So these are just wild birds. They just come in and eat these little seeds on this palm tree. How lucky are we to share our backyard with them? Now let's talk about what's coming up next. So we're off to Vietnam and Cambodia, and hopefully you've subscribed and ring the notification bell, because when I start to put the next lot of videos up, you're going to be notified when they're up. And you don't want to miss any of Vietnam and Cambodia. We even do a cruise down the Mekong River, so stay tuned for that.